Welcome to Stories with Steve, a podcast on the Central Buna Podcast Network. Every Thursday in 5 minutes or less, we'll lift you up with stories of how God works behind the scenes in our lives. Romans 8:28 tells us that God works all things together for the good of those who are called according to his purpose. Now with an encouraging story, here's Steve.
So have you ever felt like you were protected by angels? I was reminded of this old song by Amy Grant. It came out in the 1980s called Angels Watching Over Me. And some of the words it talks about, near misses all around me, accidents untold, though I never see with human eyes the hands that lead me home. And you know what? I've had experiences in my life where I've never actually seen an angel or anything, but I felt angels' presence. You know, in the Bible, it talks about them. Angels are obviously created beings that God made for a purpose, and they are bodiless creatures, although they can inhabit a human form, according to Scripture. But there's been so many times in my life I felt like there must have been angels watching over me. I can think of several instances when I was driving a car. One in particular, I was driving back to Houston, and my dad was going through cancer treatments, and I had my sister and her son, which was a little baby at that time, and we were going up I-10 at the 610 loop right there, and we were on an overpass. If you know where that's at, it's close to the Ship Channel, before the Ship Channel Bridge. And all of a sudden, I felt my steering wheel just jerk. And so I had a blowout on my tire. If you've ever had a blowout, you know how scary that is. Luckily, I was able to kind of commandeer the car over and get off in a safe place before we hit the Ship Channel Bridge right there. That would have been really bad if we got there. So I was able to call, get some help and all that. But the interesting thing, when I called my mom and let them know, hey, we're a little bit delayed, we had an accident, she said, "You're not going to believe this. Just a few minutes ago, I just stopped and prayed for y'all. I'd forgotten to pray, and I just prayed." So I really feel like that day that the Lord was with us. And I had another incident one time in Houston where it was raining really hard early Saturday morning. I had to go to work, and luckily it was early in the morning. I wouldn't be here talking. And a guy passed me going so fast in the rain. I remember saying, "Hey, dude, slow down." And the dude hit the inside wall, and he spun around, just like one of those NASCAR things you see. And so I knew I wasn't going to have time to swerve and miss him. All I could do was hit my brakes, and all I could do was I didn't have time to say, "Jesus, take the wheel," or nothing. It was that quick. Maybe just Jesus, that's it. And so we hit, but luckily, fortunately, by God's grace, I should say, we didn't hit head on, and it knocked the bumper off my car. It could have been so much worse. And the Lord just protected me. And there was another time in Houston when I was actually robbed at gunpoint. I was walking out to an apartment complex at night, and some guys came up behind me, pulled a gun on me, and of course, I just gave them what I had, and just a very scary experience. But thankfully, they just took my money, and God spared my life that night. And so I'll never forget that experience. But there's been scary experiences, but there's also been comforting experiences for me. There's been times in my life when I felt alone, when I felt like, I just felt like, crying and just, where's the Lord? And I've just felt this hand on my shoulder, like there was a presence with me. And it's just amazing. And I remember one night at a radio station I was working, and I had on my headphones, and people would walk in and out sometimes and wouldn't say nothing, but I felt somebody behind me. And so when I got through, I finished, I turned around, and there was nobody there. But to this day, I still believe it might have been an angel. And I'm not sure. I wonder if you've ever had those kind of experiences where you really felt like God's presence is watching over you. It says in Psalm 91 that he'll watch over all our ways. And so that's a real encouragement to me, and I hope it's an encouragement to you. So I'd love to hear your story. Remember, you've got a story to tell.